So to continue on with our exam practice answering technique for section 1 questions for hire, design and manufacture, we're going to now look at the remaining questions from section 1. There's usually about another 3 or 4 at least questions for section 1 to give you up to your total of 25 marks. The remaining questions still refer to the design of the two products from page 1, but they'll focus mostly on design issues and other aspects of design and manufacture. You're now being asked to compare and contrast the features of each product and how they differ to one another in terms of function, aesthetics, market, etc. And these questions can be approached mostly all in a similar way to you did in questions A and B with the statement, evidence, link structure. So there's some examples of questions that are given for the two trolleys that we've been working on the last couple of questions. There's one there about aesthetics and target market, function, performance, and then the last one about standard components. So looking at the aesthetics question first of all, aesthetics questions are looking for you to identify and describe the aesthetic qualities of each product and how they compare to one another. So using your aesthetic vocabulary here is really useful, referring to colour, contrast, texture, fashion, style, form. They are all really important words to be using in your answers here. Sometimes with these questions, they might add in something about target market to allow you to demonstrate your knowledge of how aesthetic design can appeal to different target markets. So there might be two aspects to these sorts of questions. There won't always be, sometimes they will just be asking you about aesthetics. So for example, if the design is modern, it's going to appeal to a younger market, and if it's a more traditional looking design, that will appeal to an older market. As always, you need to refer to both products in your answers here. So using that statement, evidence, link structure, firstly, you're going to want to introduce your answer and the product. So we're talking about aesthetics here. So aesthetics has influenced the design of the Risatorp trolley in that you're mentioning the product and what you're talking about here. Then you're going to give your evidence and provide your reasoning and explain it. So the shapes and forms used are simple and slim. You're then going to link it. So you're going to relate your evidence to the similarities or differences of the design of the other product. And this is how you can actually extend and expand this answer to potentially pick up 2 marks for one statement itself, because you can then refer to aesthetic qualities of the other design just by linking it back to your first answer. So compared to the more bulky form of the Beckfilm trolley. That on its own would pick up 2 marks because you're mentioning aesthetic qualities of the Risatorp trolley and that it uses simple and slim shapes and forms, and then you're going on to compare that to the more bulky forms of the other products. So you are referring to both products and 2 different aesthetic qualities for those products, so that would gain 2 marks. You could then further extend this part of your answer to cover target market as a way of gaining additional marks just for this one part. So to extend that answer, this would make the Risatorp trolley appeal to a younger target market as the simple design is more modern, whereas the Beckfilm trolley has a more traditional design which would appeal to an older target market. So that answer has gained up to 4 marks because it's referring to different elements of aesthetics and target market for both products.